So I'll read the question. First question is, in the tenet system of this text, it is the conceptual mind, yilo dokpa, that goes from life to life. Could you explain and comment on this? Because Beta digi luxula yilo dokpa se dine se chimala drogi ore dine di sheronang de kande de di dambarawa niba de. And then the next question is, please explain the meaning and role of the special indispensable cause in this text. Dene peche dinanga de dokje ki gyu keberchen kola shegi ore dene di kandre de dundak ore dene yang because peche dinanga kare because like a karajegi do it.
No, yeah, no, that Dhamma yilu talk about it, Karsa.
Dhamma yilo talk about it.
Understood.
Dhamma de sharonang yilo talk about kande de che dine che chimala dokande.
Tatu Salamna. Sheba number Sheba Telini Vara. Yigi number Sheba, one bill number Sheba Snivara. One bill number Sheba Sina, Mewangi Taginche. Any case on a make number Sheba Sigra. And now Taginche and Tratos and a number Sheba. And then Nahong Betagis and Trinum Shebatella, Nan number Sheba, Share number Sheba, Luigi number Sheba Sigra. Tetulo one Shea Sigara. One Bususian Batagi. Migi Tagi, Tamatagi, some Yara, Sum Shamba. Tienco Tagi, so to you so the Miwana ten. So the Miwana China, Miwana Latin Shebati Kigora, Sebu Santongara. Musum Rata. Something wrong, Tanziong, Tanziong, Ronziong, Rexanzimbeong, Musum Retora. So Tetulo only number Sheba Sigua. Kana Tagi, one Bususian Balatin, Kegorako.
There's two kinds of, we translate it as consciousness. There's the sensory consciousness and the mental consciousness. Sensory consciousness, remember there are three conditions that produce a sensory consciousness. There's the objective condition, it's called. That means the object itself. And then there's the, I'm translating it as dominant condition, which determines, what kind of consciousness it is, depending on which sense faculty it is. And then there's the immediately preceding condition, which is the immediately preceding moment of consciousness before you have these three come together. So then, so it's dependent upon this dominant. The dominant condition is the sense faculty itself. So if you have the sense faculty of the eye, then you're going to have a visual consciousness. You have the sense faculty of the ear, you're going to have an auditory consciousness. If you have a sense faculty of the nose, you're going to have what is it? Olfactory consciousness, and so forth. With the five senses. What are the other? There's taste, and then there's touch, right? So then. These are all, they produce what we call a direct perception, okay? It's or just simply a perception. It doesn't have any thought involved in it. It's a direct perception. And no, that do so.
Oh yeah. What do you do? Do you want to number shibat is a wrong number shivangandoa? So chatting road is an urgent again. On Susan Balcania. Number shivangandoa. Oh, there's a kanga. Luigi. One but to Tajin and Kiora. Tajin and Kiora. Oh, this was a consul little thing you are. Little thing you are. Luigi. Chashe. One Susan but to the consul Tajin. Tin doji to Kevarche, one be number shibatria. Me, one man, make a number shibaki, Mara. No one man, no one Budona, no one of Tanzania City, Mara. So to do doji to Kevarche, Dagin del Sigara. She don't. Akasu. Telesigua. She don't doji, Tatu Honi Yungura. Doji to Kevarche said, Dagin did Yelling Sigara.
Oh.
Tumo may be Dagin, Mewan, no one, she want to do.
Come on, maybe.
Tumo may be Malawisha, true.
Don't take it there.
Oh, yeah, she got in your there. Dagin, she does not Mewan, no one, she want to do. You look at Chashera. Oh, there's one good number shape at the Zuga, the Tirikas, Doji to Kevarche. Mewan, no one to the man, and I'm she thought to the. Omar and Don do one donna, make a number 7 dollar. Take your chimney drag Omar. She's doing Mewan guard with Mewan Lagashimara and Belagashimara. And come to Kanga Maverendura. Can you teach your chimney drag? Teach you love that.
So the 5th century consciousness are produced from the body, because we have to say that these sensory faculties, or simply sense faculties, are they have form. And as and they are also understood as being special, indispensable causes, because if you don't have, say, your visual sense faculty, then you're not going to have a visual consciousness. They're also called, the dominant condition. So then, but they're indispensable for the, each one of them is indispensable for having a sensory consciousness. But then these will not, none of these sense consciousnesses will go to the next lifetime, okay? That's not something that proceeds to the next lifetime.
You could make a Sheba, never Sheba, Luigi Regent, Sheba to Megura. To do your name, Marwa. Some bitches, some that try to, and this is so good. Niku Mara. They make a number Sheba, one number Sheba to the Omara. Only some number Sheba man and Niku. Oh, to do Milam Tangatona, Milam Tanga Sheba to the Yigi Shebara. Yigi number to was at this letter.
So you can understand how this works when we fall asleep. You really can't fall asleep. When you're sleeping, then these sense faculties are not operating. It's only the mental consciousness that's working, and if your sense faculty, if any of either your eye, ear, nose, tongue, or body sense faculty is producing a sense consciousness, then you're not going to fall asleep. You have to have all 5 of those, when you fall asleep, all 5 of those are, we can say, shut down, and the only thing that's operating is your mental consciousness.
Oh, yeah. this one. Teacher, you look over Sigdua. You look over Sadi, then the Miwanga Tajin Chigumare, Navambo Tajin, Navambo Tesumare, Tesutajin Chibul Tugumare. Then I make a suit to Ura, making a suit to some making number Shebade on Sherwa. Tell it an unexample something or shooting dress to Yabundo to window some Koda. The easy Shebada. Easy number of Cetera. Make the caressna. Mewa de Tajin Miki Shebatiera, shoot on the Shebatiera. Teachers only simple something or taking a tender Thompson shooting this to meeting this to get it in the share sometimes some Koda. What the easy number to order. You look over Cetera.
So when you have a visual consciousness, when you produce a visual consciousness based on a sense faculty, then it's the sense consciousness is produced, and then it's the this then gives rise to the mental consciousness, because the mental consciousness is what thinks about say you saw something, thinks about the visual object, and oh, it was good, and oh, it was bad, and or it was terrible, and she said this about it, or he said that about it. That's all mental consciousness that's at work.
Yeah. That when I don't do it, midnight don't do it. Don't do that, do to me, Geshe, I'm just a drummer, so I say, and Luigi, Hammer, one wish of the Gandura. Me, Tony, I'm doing that Jimada, there's a mare chowder, Tony Mera. And it's sending now to the Ganga Page, do it, send it now. Tambudo, I must say, Chabby, you to the Tangira. The Baruzil Chavdon, Shiba Tamus Degra. Did you say you look over the Terriora? You see, one good number shows the Terrio Maraco. You let them better than one would me on the Lagachigo Mar, another one would Lagachigo Mar, then you want to see Kiego Mare. Then you just about the Terriora, you look over the Terriora. Traveling now, Madame Dasha, now, Madame Dashan, and the Pandone. No, it's an issue to travel some set of the don't want to do that. What is it to do? You look over your
Then at the point of our death, these sensory consciousness stop, and then you have some appearances that come to your mind, and those also, my mother was like that, my parents did this, and it sort of all comes to mind, but then that also ceases, and then basically what is happening is the consciousness is becoming more and more subtle, and so then what's left at that point is this conceptual mind, yilodopa. What's that? Yilodopa. So the first question is about that, but then if you add to that the tantric system, that it's a mental consciousness. That mental consciousness gets much more subtle, and then it's that which they say transfers to the which goes to the next lifetime, future lifetime.
Well, do you know the Shauchu Shauchu Chigra, Shauchu Chidu, Sobuk Sana to the Hakumidwa, Hakumarwa, and I'm Joe Tayaki Omarwa. No, to do some Sheba de Yora, you look at Yora. Sheba same as a Suzuka Hamo, Karitan, Karja, Hakumidwa. In a session, but Sheba Chasit de Yora. What is you look over?
Another example, for instance, is when you have surgery, all the given anesthesia, and you go into a mental situation where your sensory consciousnesses are all stopped, but that doesn't mean that your mind's not at work. The mind is still working, and that's this what is translated as the conceptual mind here. That conceptual mind is still present.
미기지 돈 암조 그 개체님 지라 삼로 단계 진도와 디카르시 그래 디카레 누구도 되도 삼로 단계 간가 이루 되라 미기 쉐바도 쉐바지 통을 마도 들 양자 쉐바지 들 삼로 단계 요 말아 수이 동아래 돈에 아무도 삼 소아지 계수는 어디 아무도 갈고도 되고면도 거기까지 뒤셔야 오 말에 되게 삼로 마음 거기도 와 그래서 간가 이루 더 거라
And then, in addition, when we're conscious, then when you see something with your visual consciousness, you have a visual consciousness. Then it's not that visual consciousness that does all the consideration about what you're seeing. That's your mental consciousness, the conceptual mind that's thinking, "Oh, I don't know if that's a good idea, or maybe we should do this about it," or all that's the mental consciousness.
No, there's a kanga. It's a tanda shagura, tragicura, one tragicura. In some sort, Gawa, so should the telesigurus and some coda. Teacher and the timida, whatever, some poda. There's a kanga you look over.
So, and then that which determines what that sound is, and or when you see something, figuring out exactly what you're seeing, and thinking about it and planning. All of that is this conceptual mind.
Yilo sigdwa.
Yeah.
Wangshi Yeshe sigdwa. Wangbu shibas wangbu suchamba. Miwan nawa chawa tazu dajin cheni kesan ko wangshi sigdwa. Yeshe sigdwa yigi dajin cheni. Miwan ga dajin cheni ko marwa. Ina ko yile tene yichima ya kiyongudwa. Desunzang Yeshe sigdwa. Wangbu suchamba dajin wangbu suchamba tuema go hache. Ane yigi kiyongudwa. O tila Yeshe sigdwa. O tende tokba tila yilu tokba sigdwa. Wangshi mahinge Yeshe hinge. Ane number tokba. Tunji shahar che pa samlu tange tila yilu tokba sigdwa.
So when you say Wang She, it's talking about the sense. It's really referring. A literal translation is sensory consciousness, but sensory here is talking about really the sense faculties, because it's the sense faculties that are the dominant condition amongst those three conditions to determine what kind of a sensory consciousness you're experiencing, whether it's the eye, ear, nose, or tongue, or body sense means touch. So then here, but then when you start, thinking about what it is you're seeing or hearing or tasting or whatever, that's all mental consciousness. It's not at all the reason. Well, mental consciousness is then referred to as Yigi number Sheva means just that it's the mind. Okay, that here. So that's why we translate it as mental consciousness. Literally, it's the mind consciousness, but it's this conceptual mind that's being referred to.
Tujungi shirwa ni ya samjungi shirwa, kumjungi shirwa sa dazu kanga yilu ra. Tadigi tatungi, tadi janjan tugura, onshi dige, nashi dige. Tadi tungi, tadi tunda kare samutanga yigi samutanga ra. Onshi koran tunda kare samutanga yomara, tadi tugura. Joshua wa shirwa ni kare o namdi tinde shiva tili shigi wari samu, yigi shiva tangi wara. Sa toba tanga, tobe shirwa, kombe shirwa, samjungi shirwa, samutangi kanga Yeshe detanura.
So when you hear word or some expression, and then it's your sensory consciousness that's auditory consciousness that's picked up that sound, but and perceived it. But then immediately when you start thinking about it, that's the mental consciousness, and the mental consciousness then is responsible for developing the wisdom that arises from study or hearing. Literally, hearing here means hearing the teachings, then reflection, and then the wisdom that arises from reflection, and the wisdom that arises from meditation. All of those three wisdoms, that's all the mental consciousness that's developing those.
Yeah. Yilu tokwa sto so jungdo. Yilu seni tele ngusum ngura. Yiji pena tombani ngusum de tongen kansa shebat shina. Ko yilu tokwa mara. Ngusum re sora. Jangara jo di mangsa de yilu tokwa re. Tadi sumji yingu sero ngusum chikeji sewada. Tadi shek mari ngusara. Yilu chama yilu tokwa mara. Yilu ngusum yongyo resa. Tombani ngusum de tobe shinde seni yilu ra. Yilu tokwa mara. Tokwa sene ko par samlutan, tunji samlutan ngusum do mato waje samlutan dengiswa. Ote kanga yilu tokwa ra.
When we talk about conceptual mind here, yilu tokwa, it's
yilu tokwa ni tes kebado. Yilu ngusum yongyo resa.
There's also something just that would be called, if you break this up, it's conceptual mind, okay? The Dokpa part is a conceptual, the Yilu is just mind, and we're usually always perceiving everything with this Yilu Dopa, or the conceptual mind, but there is a perceptual mind. That's the way we translate it. It means like direct perception. So for instance, when you have a direct perception of emptiness, you're perceiving that with the mind, not with, it's a direct perception. It means it doesn't have that conceptual part. And so then there's a difference there in terms of our ordinary persons are mostly caught up in this conceptual mind.
Oh yeah, that yilu tokwa said, wongu luigi miwa nawa la soba teso dajin chego medwa. Teso mene keto gudwa. Melam tang du tang shakchu chi du tang tinga jo haku gudwa. Oh di ko yi ngora. Yi ga ma chi dajin shene ni yi chimaya di ngora. Di ko 참 전에 시간을 놓고 sheba 참 전에 gyundi doyora. Wanshi to the real matter,
Right. So the conceptual mind doesn't depend upon a sensory, a sense faculty. The conceptual mind it depends upon a previous moment of the conceptual mind. So then you have this sequence of mind producing mind, and that gets much it gets more and more subtle, so that then you have this very subtle mind that goes from one life to the next.
I'm bayina ko samutayora. Mi longa ko samutayora. Tanda gutima masoke memeshe. Tima masoke na samsala roha magoge yonjidwa. Chi kabret ndekhamna. Tedi ka ko dozo ongu shebati kiriyo mara. Ina yiji shebati deudwa. Ko sungji mishi to miwan tengi yosam sokul tengi yosam miwan de kyonchene toya yo mara. Suina kya mara. The Ombudy Kanshana, Transport, Seven Zambulikona Kange, Tatana Kolke Omara, when we Shevike Omara. In a year, Sheva Yorako. Dinner city.
So it's our sense, we're dependent upon the sensory faculties to, for sight, to then produce the visual consciousness that then we can consider the object with our conceptual mind. And the same goes for, more commonly the other sense faculties like your nose and your ears and so forth. That's usually what we're involved with. And so then when those sense faculties are damaged or blocked, then it doesn't really mean that our mental consciousness stops. It's not like that. The visual consciousness, if you go blind, you can't see, but then, or if you go deaf, you can't. Even the whole world is making a noise. You can't perceive that noise. That it's completely blocked, but still the mental consciousness is working.
Just me cancer or sober Yomara. Sober made me one now, Chaman Luan to Yomara. Korea, the one she care Yomara. Yeshe Yoroko, Sembiora, Yeshe Yora. That they tend to get it.
Then we have this, what do you say, formless realm. So they don't have any sensory perception there at all, but they have mental perception. It's just a mental consciousness that's operating at that level of, what do you say, formlessness. Gyu Keberchen.
Oh, yeah. That again, making number 7 doa. Taking Dogji to Keberchen, the Miwandera. Tomorrow, Tajin, the Dogji to Keberchen. Nave on Buena, Nave Shebana, Nave on Burwa, Neon Buchi on Bulujon Butu. So that to resent and be Lotto to be Dogji to Keberchen. No, Tilasiora. That under Yeshe, Miwan now want to do Dogji to Keberchen Chiomara. Tajin Chiomara. Oh, Tilda, Yi Shebato, Dogji to Keberchen, the Yinga Madre. Yinga Madre, Yelida. Shiba Yele says Ora. Yele in a Dogji to Keberchen. Any one wish about to do two maybe Tajin Shidua. Tajin Miwan, Tajin Nawa, Tajin Neon, but Tajin Chiang, but Tajin Lujon Busida. Or the Tumu my bed, Dogji to Keberchen. So, dear. Dogji Keberchen, Dusana, Yeleda, any Tajin Keberchen, Tajin. Oh, Tini, you can rule Dogji Keberchen.
Oh, Nika, Nyelenda,
Tajilia, Tumu might be Tajin to Rombo. Oh, Tinilian Dogji to Keberchen.
So that answers the first question. The second question about the special indispensable cause, that's we already kind of touched on that. There's these sensory faculties then are also known as the dominant condition, and they're also the special indispensable cause, right? And then for each of the sensory faculties, those sense faculties are the special indispensable cause. But when you get to the mental consciousness, then it's slightly different. The special indispensable cause is a previous moment mind, as well as and it's also called the, well, you can refer to that as the substantial cause as well. So mind comes from mind. That's the substantial cause of mind is mind.
This way.
And the special indispensable cause of mind is a previous moment of mind.
The mega sheba so tongra, mega sheba so tongra. Miwang tajin mishikera. Miwang de mishil pentosa. Conducive to Chebachera, Miwang man mishungumara. Mishi teletane and it's tonza. Some gear, some coda. Shoot all suit in this do some Yeshe Kira. Then Miwang de mishil pentogre, Mishitege. You want to Yeshe Pentogua. Some Miwan de Mixil, Yeshe, you look over Pentogora. Sunzimbe, you look over Ina. Sunzi, you look over Tanzi, you look over Yora. Sunzimbe, you look over the China. Miwan de Sunzi Mishiki, Jigani, you look over Yora, Sunzimbe. Miwan de Delia, you look over Sunzimbe, you look over. Yeah, Yeshe, every Pentogora. Pentoba Yeshe, Pentoba Yore, in a conducive, you Chebachama, Yeshe, Miwade, Luande, Luigi Chashe, Conyele Mare, Tajin Maresura, Onyeleni Marocco Surva, Tajin, Yeshe, the big suit on a service at Tongora, the Tongomaraco. Oh, this was a Capri Luanke. Yeshe, you look pant over your days. Depend over your some mutton, don't take you have some days. This one, oh, deal with it. When the patient do it,
because don't take cabbage and unit, then it's silver.
Miwande Tajin Shogura, Yana Miwande Yelin Shogura, Yeshe. Yelin Marco Surva, Su 7 years or your mother. And Tajin and the Mishi given us in Yeshe, they can be one, then the service Tongora. Mishi Loga Mangan Sandro, Shiva Chima domestic looks to Sandro. She already meet and know what they did.
So then we have to understand that the special indispensable cause of, say, visual consciousness is this visual sense faculty, which is, has form. It's part of the body, but that doesn't act as for the mental consciousness. Then that does not act as a indispensable cause. Okay, it's helpful. Based upon that sensory faculty, then we have the visual consciousness, and then as a result of the visual consciousness, we can think about that acts as that moment of consciousness. Then creates our thoughts, and helps. What do you say? It causes our thoughts. It's a what do you say? Nirlan means it's a substantial cause of our thoughts, but it also but if you go back to that sensory faculty, it's not indispensable. It's not the indispensable cause of our mental consciousness, and therefore it's not referred to as that. It's just like a helper, and because it couldn't be, its form, so it's not the what do you say? It's not the substantial cause of the mental consciousness.
No, that was any page. Go get it. That did. Don't did it. Solga Shipju did it. Shipju in the
So then that's enough for the questions. Now we're at 44.
She can see the town, Rosar, degree.
Oh, yeah.
That's why. Shaya Lula Tenas and what? Did saw the Rimjam, Kebarichem, Turban, says what? That's why.
Rasa.
De da shen lu la tena sta pa ke ji ti ra ra lu ke lu han tene yi ki shebe ki go ra se do wa lu do na yi lu do go ra sen ge ra ta jil pa do ti go ra ke na shen lu la tena se ra yi lu to ba de lu la tena ki go na su ra lu ta ba me da ba la ten se lu ta ba la tena yi lu ki go ra yi lu me da ba la tena ki go ra se ra 다 루탁발 때네 제가 메테드스고라 림제 밀레 림제미 개발제미 되바미세 라서 자와데
Rasa.
어야 리쇼젠스도 켈레 일루 림제도 좀 멤버 타세 림제 밀레 림제 미세더라 그 일루 똑바 말 루데 딱바이나 그 림지게 요 말아 그 딱바레 게요 말아 자 리쇼제 que le yelo togwa rimjendo jo membartas rimjen mele rimjen mise tera karesne que rimjen membe tagba imbese yelo lu de rimjen mai be tagba imbese ora lu tagba inese ora lu tagba ke mara sirba jen keran ti lu tagba le kesene de mare se ora da rimjen mele rimjen me kebar jemi to ba mise tera kenla to ne ja rimjen do ke me de kenje kebardo cheba mai besese lu takba yena ani yilu de kenla tene rimjendo kewa teg mares gora karesne kenje kebardo cheba me lu de la kenje kebardo jure go mar lu takba rawas gora deso hai no ya odese
So if we return to the text, I don't know if you have this text, we're on page 233 in the middle there where it says alternatively. So here, alternatively, the question, so if the mind is based on the body, then it's just sort of like, okay, this is our own consideration. Alternatively, if mind is based on the body, it must be based on either a permanent body, A, or B, an impermanent body. A, if it's based on a permanent body, that is unacceptable because it follows from it that the body does not have a mind originating from it successively because it is permanent. There's no sequence, there's this idea, there's no mind sequence, because it is permanent and non-successive. So, and then mind also is not generated successively from a permanent body, dependent on change, dependent on mind is not generated successively from a permanent body dependent on successive conditions because a permanent body is not subject to change by conditions.
This one.
Dakpa or what?
No, lu takba le kes na takba le kes ne kya tang jora. Tande sawa lu le rim ge lo jona se dra. Sikan thamash do wa. Odi kar se ne. Yilu kaje su len ja ge ora ko ge. Su len ja ge ora. Kande ne. Yilu ngama rim jen da yi ge lo le ngama chi ore so ora. Yilu ngama rim ge ken yong ge de da lu ni nyam do cho ne yilu chima de rimgi kiri yoyos la wara. Yilu ngama rimjen dang sikwa. Yilu ngama rimgi kengi yilu chi wara. Teta nyamdo cho ne, ini lu takpa teke, lu le rimgi yilu chima den joran gyuru, gyur jese. Lu chibu la tani kiki ma re shara. Yilu takpa te, lu la tani kiki re, lu takpa la tani, ina lu chibu la tani kiki ma re. Yilu ngama te dang, lu ni cho ne, ini yilu chima de kiki re se wara.
So the opponent is coming up with a rejoinder here where he or she says, mind arises not from a permanent body alone, rather So it's not from just a permanent body alone. It's rather later minds will be originated successively from a permanent body that's associated with a previous mind. It's saying that minds will be originating successively. It's sort of like there's a group of minds and associated coming from a permanent body that is associated with a previous mind. No, it's
so they remember several chases they young remember several chases parking sugar. Oh, that in the end, Canasura, Lute young, Nazi remember you have a several quarters by him, and then Lute, Kyotakba and Sigura, and Lute uncle, Nazi rembash into Kiwares, it is several to Doasigura. Caressina, ye. Longama latene, Yilungama latene, and a lutige, Yiluchima rimiki to Asera. Then a Lucora and Guandogora, and a Lutea, Najirimbash and Duachin in Kugresora. Then a Kuluta and said Mandira. This year. They are the Basachi, the children.
So it starts out here then. These are addressing the verses, in sort of word by word. So here, it follows that it is clearly demonstrated that body has earlier and later stages, because it is demonstrated that the body generates a later mind in dependence on a previous mind. So it's just laying out what the objection entails. That do something.
What did that? Then the Geshe Ngama is doa. Sholka Shuju Shangadera. Geshe Ngama ne Geshe Remete, Guin te China Goose. Tamjachina Tony, or the Chicachadora. Takasode. You Kenji chicken, Lu Geshe Ngama Nesera. Ye and then legislation get a lu Ngama Tenesora. We may be Lu Keji Chima Queen Bartasora. Maybe Lusim Kenji Chima Queen Barta. Debatena Sobatesher. Dona Chicana Kemata Tamje Getsena, Lusim Penzu Gurtonga near the San Devices. Luda something but depends on Curie to us. Lungamanga Shiba Chimachima Panto, Shiba Luli Party, Yamduki to us. Tell you Tagway said in the Gumatunda. You Tagway not Kichi Rim Gumara.
Did Lu meet up with him?
Ranu Lumita, and the Kulu Tagban until it can sugar. Because you look up like yes, and I still can sugar.
So here, if you look at the verse on, say, page 232, if you have this, then it's verse 44. If you assert that various previous moments are the causes of each subsequent moment, then because of that, at all times, we should see body and mind as mutually causative. So what's understood here is that the body is permanent in their system, and the Buddhist system is the body's impermanent. But here, so it's countering the rejoinder based on that the rejoinder asserts that the body is permanent. So if you assert that, it follows that the various previous body moments that are the cooperative conditions of mind are the causes of each subsequent later moment of both mind and body because of that assertion and our previous objection. If you assert that, it follows that at death time, just after birth, and at all times, which we should see body and mind, so at all times here, we should see body and mind as mutually causative because of what you have asserted about a permanent body.
No, ya da de da. Garsa de sologa shiju de legdoa. De tanda chera. Dan de tanzen sabar chida. Dira. Kyawanga mebe trupchi kakwala sums. 거기 껴가지고 요 말에서 죽지 시작이와라. 껴가지고 요 말에 샘디 룰레 템퍼라니 루시슨 샘에시도 우리슬랍이와라. 네. 껴가지고 매번 죽지 시작이와라. 뒤랑로 파가기와라. 뒤질라다. 얘네마 솔로간 뒤 죽주리도 되게 이와 가지 껴가지고 매서 죽지 거기와래. 뒤파가기와래스. 나다.
So here I think it so don't forget about the number of the verse. It's different numbering system. So here we're on page 234, and here we're talking about showing that the reason that is uncertain. It's saying that there is no. Basically, what the Charvaka is saying is that the mind is dependent upon the body, and so when the body, so at the moment of death, when the body stops operating, then the mind stops operating. That's clear. So there is no future life. So then, here we're countering that kind of proof.
This one.
Oh, the Buddhists are countering that kind of a proof.
다 거기 경아치 매배 두생 고요다. 경아치 매스 가지고요. 가르고도서는 강 지심이 바테네 시도. 다들 말은 까메도. 두스팔랍스니까 인지로. 탐해봐, 미탐해봐 요래 지담 미치어라. 탐해봐 지게를 받추잖아요. 미탐해봐 시가라 먹으러 받추어라. 탐마셔라. 탐해봐 지게를 받추잖아요. 르베치만 참 메조르데스 거 코코고요다. 겨가지 매생가 되고 따고고요다. 미치가라 먹으러 운동을 한번 쉬어라. 탐해봐 지게 일로 또 받추잖아요. 르베추잖아요. 샘트 추잖아요. 거라. 르베치만 참 자고 말해. 르베치만 투이전도 말해. 참 제그래서 거라. 대진이 번에 곧 좋아도 그래. 요 말을 쉐봤더니 막 시소나 요 말에서 거라. 르베치만 참 메조르데스. 참 좋으서는 투이지 지게만 돼서 거라. 우때도 지금 말해서 거라. 다 좋아버려. 다 쉐봐 요 말해. 르기 쉐밖에 도고 말 르래가 지금 요 말해. 다 쉐밖에 요 말해. 다 좋아래. 겨치만 동게 요 말해서 거라. 자, 탐해봐 지게 르베치잖아요. 거라. 르베치만 참 메조르데스 거라. 치스미 매체서 거라. 치외값이 세미 매체서 거라. 근데 뒤배들이 앞에나 다좀 탐해sem신 오셔라. 다좀 봐. 탐마탐마도 땅아주 낭배나리야. 송카시는 텐데 거래. 다좀 봐도 여모 방서도 이거 치마를 봐. 삼자고 말에 겨울랑고 말해서 했어요. 팀에도 저 다좀 차서는 마음이시원 좋아시 간을 루신 두신가 좋아집니다. 두신녀녀 넘버시바 노버 주시기도. 최기 인을 내야도 시바요 말다. 다좀 차서나. 다좀 버디 간사를 봐. 시소나. 이 시바 좋은도래. 다요 말에 마음이시원 하시래. 최기 인을 내가 됐어. 다 시바 맞아요. 시바 되어 말을 건져. 딩낭배 숭날 시에가 봐. 어떻게나 숭날이야. 다좀 바탐에 셈데 셈치마 참주르고 민도 시야도 가서 그래. 되네 지나 메시가람 미디 셈디 주제. 리버치마 참 메쇼데 시스미 메서 빼나 캐나 시에 다좀 바탐에 셈신 오서 그래. 리버디르다 리버디를 파실람나. 그거야 리버디. 야 딜라다.
So the opponent is sort of taking the ordinary being's death time mind and making a syllogism that that basically what they're asserting is that there is no subsequent homogene, means that there is no succession that whole sequence of mind stops there, because it's a death mind, and then they give the example of the arhat. The arhat in the Buddhist tenet systems of the for lack of a better translation, or just a literal translation, the Hinayana. And so then when we say what happens in that time is that the arhat is completely eliminated all the mental afflictions. So then when the arhat dies, or goes into parinirvana, then the mind ceases, and so that's what then the Thabkhe is using that as an example. It's just like that, we're just talking the same thing that you have that example of the arhat. We're just saying the same thing. There's no future mind, and it's because it's a death mind. That's what they're asserting. Do so again.
Yeah. That trachum but tamesam singestwa. Dear Tanda Semjambata, Umabata, trachum bet tamesam to the Semchima Mescaling Marda. Or Tatanda Dico, Tengme the Sungashin or Sheva Yora. This was a good Peku Yora. Material and the Semjambata, Umabata, the Kaling Marda. Trachum but Tamateako. Yamujan is sem yomata, Koe Kawal Nizam Chagmarwa. Kobal Ramaba Language, Yolan says, but you should read the Omara. The Mother Sheba Yora. Not the true Yara.
Don't get confused here, because this is not a Buddhist assertion that's accepted by all the different tenet systems. That our own understanding in the Mahayana tenet systems of the mind-only school and Madhyamaka schools, these then assert that what mind is stopping there is the regular mind that once you eliminated all the mental afflictions, then you no longer have that mind that's helplessly reborn over and over again in cyclic existence, or in samsara. So then that indeed comes to an end. It's no longer there, but that doesn't mean that the mind itself is somehow eliminated. That the mind, there is the continuation of the mind.
This one.
No.
Did the local no and the Chiloga? Then what? The tie and the Mangi Marisura, Kang Chisim by Tenesura. Chivesemina, Chigalamisemina Sura. Ringde Chima, some mature kept this order. Chisimina, Ringde Chima could some journey dry or maybe kept this or Kajiksigora. Then I chucked a chicken. Ribashino, Chagde was the Trachum, but Chigay Ribashino Sigora. Chagde, the Chagba the Town, the Shatter Town, Ribashinos. Tameba Chigay, Semjan, Chisimino, Tameba Chigay, Semja, Chisim Rivase, Tir Ribashima, some Juguma, Chisimin Bitches, then I Chagde Chigay Ribashino Sigora. Shebe Tale, Kyoangachi, Meba to good Osura, Kyoangachi Omar, Kyochima Omar Esura, Nama Yomachima Yomas. And of course, then dig Maricana, the Logbe Nevesher, Tenji, Main Teta and the Mare, Kyoangachi Yoba to be tag Nugris Labi in Asura. Cannot Kyoangachi use a title and Kyoangachi never to be but Nugri, the end of Mare Sigora. Says I. Shenase, the Logbe Nevesher, and the Tenji Maino, Shenasura. Logbalaya, de Nevesher, Teji Maiba Chungsu, she said to us, or cook lavetire. Tatanda Mazuko Sarimba. Oh, the dear, yeah, Tilam Nella, Mondungin, don't you do that?
Okay, so then we're on page 234, and we're reading, just at the bottom there where it says the opponent. And so what the opponent is asserting, as we've been discussing, is a death-time mind necessarily does not connect with a subsequent homogene. As, for example, a detached one's, that means an arahat, a detached one's death-time mind does not so connect, as we pointed out. An ordinary being's death-time mind also is a death-time mind with no sequel, so there's no continuation, there's no future lives. The non-existence of past and future lives is proven through reasons like the above quoted. If you claim that it is not a correct reason because it can be damaged by its opposite, then we reply that the opposite equally is not a correct reason because it can be damaged by our reason. So it's talking about that it can't be damaged by, countered by a reassertion of the opponent's syllogism.
This one. That did that. Tamesem de Semshenda, Samjo and Geshe, Ralupa Labiora. Well, Tameba Chicala Musem de Ribachimashenda, Semchimashen, Shenesh and Tudin Dolia. Gawakaya Yoma, Ribeneji Yoma, Reswar, and Nambapa Labiora. Tamesem ne Semshenda, Samjo and Gavachi, and Gavamed Osigora. The Tamachigesem names and what Rindesem Shen, some Joro, and Gavamed, Rindabuji Tun and Droid, and Gavayoma, Res, 2 days ago. Gavachi and Yoma, my bitches. Deal of that, so you
So the verse, the line in the verse said it is not in any way contradictory that a final mind connect to another mind.
This one?
They do so.
Oh, Tangani did it. Tangiba Petico, Tajum Pena, Tajumba, Chigesem no Sierra, Tajum Tamesem no Speco.
Oh, they look, or they.
Yeah.
It follows that such reasons are, so Gyaltsepje is countering, it says, it follows that such reasons are not correct reasons with inverse pervasion because it is in not any way contradictory that an ordinary being's final death-time mind connect to another subsequent mind of the same type.
This way.
This one.
Yeah. Tako Tajum Tamesem Shenos, 2 number cover. Tajum Tamesem Shenos, Tajum Chigesem Shenos, Tameba Chige Medichuje, Rebuchama Sam Jurgamarite, Chisimi Besser, Pena Tajum Tame Semshenos Larva. That cannot pay the Trugumaris Lavgore. Tajum Tamesem Kavayo Resigora. A Kerang Sule shed was an I say, no Beshun did Sama Marva Kawashi Basigora. That's why. No, did it at that. Niba Pematubala Nisudo. Tajun Tamesem Shenos, Tajun Tamesem de Tugumaresera, Colpala Gora, Caresna, Petruji Sama Mebas, Petruji Sama Yoma Resura, Carsana. Number Petruji Sama Mebane, Tajum Semga in the Kale Samjo Meban, those steer Colba. Can I Tajum but Tamesem de la Semchima Sam Jurgamare said, Kare Kusan Kale Ten cannot Samjuma Mebasigura.
So then this next section is saying that there is no authority proving the example. Here, this example that they use in there, if you look back on page 234, the opponent, there's one quoted section there, and that is the statement of the syllogism that a death-time mind necessarily does not connect with a subsequent homogene, as, for example, a detached one's, meaning an arahat, death-time mind does not connect. And giving that example, an ordinary being's death-time mind is also a death-time mind, so with no sequel. So that's the syllogism. But then what's happening, and this is described in the line here on page 235, where it says, there is no authority proving the example. Here it's listed as 45C. Also, that an arhat's mind be asserted not to connect is unjustifiable through any authority. There's no, what do you say, valid, what do you say, valid reason for this. So, that is
yeah. Oh yeah, that's some college and my do best, sir. Go did Tajon Tiranga to get some college and my do best, sir. Da madumnas or to get some madum, similar troops, and I cannot number song the go to a Titan sir. Tajon by you said that Tajon by Tambesam, you said, killing Marwa. It's so genetic, go to our say. It's some. So
what Gyaltsepje is doing here is is the last paragraph here on page 235, where it says, it follows also that an arhat's final mind cannot reasonably be asserted by the opponent as a correct accordant example, possessing both a reason and a predicate, and proving an ordinary being's death-time mind not to connect with a subsequent homogene, because that arhat's existence is unproven for the opponent through any authority. The opponent, the Charvaka materialist, if you want to call them, doesn't accept an arhat. So then, how could this be an appropriate example?
Yeah.
Oh, then it says, I think he adds it here, if that last reason is unproven, then any effort to refute our assertion of the existence of liberated beings is contradictory. That brings us to the top of page 236.
Oh, Rangula Trajumba Tamesam Kel Lenam Melechera, Kelingi Yonasa, Trajun Tamesam Kelingi Yonasa, Tambutanasa, Tamebe Chism Churcha, Ribachim some Jorde, Ribayim Becher, Shebeta, Mangeber Julasa, Ribachim some Jorde, Ribayim Becher, and Ribayin Ribachim some Joy Togmadua, Trajun Besem, Ribachim some Jum, didn't get those. Oh, Kelana Kemelena, Chima Mirite, Sama number Nebala, Source, but a Galosh and Nasa, Sama Namni Kasu, Trasum Tambesem, Ribachima Samachus, Shasura. Kemete, Ranlula Trasum, Tambesem Kemelemba, Mayimbes, Ranlula Trasum Tambesem Keling Gresera, Talovan Lawan Lord Nima Beba, so soon Junidua. Sanjebe Lung Samayana, Tamebe Chisim, Ringdachama Samjura, Kele Golase. Sanjebe Lung Samayana, Kolpala Gura, Tamebe Chisim Ringda, Chima Samjura, Kele Gola, Lung de Sama. Mena Trachumba, Tamesem Yamadube, te tumbir merunsa trajumba tame sem ralu la ke mele ba mai de namngele tunje ne dong me chen de shabola trajumba sem ke mange ba che ba na simjen do tang be sem ke nyele meche bola meche be tamashe cha debu chongsa ji me mai ku Yeshe so la phade she simjen do tang be sem ke nyele meche be de chima sam mejo a she ba se lo she loben kya kan be nge ji tup de le ne trajumba tame sem ba she sam chorwa ta gewar tonge chisim tamje 마윤도 세세도 니마 베베 마메시와 교하신도 리바 교인샤버셰베 시르토 켈레베 온도 제바인라 테케 멜레나 메모 딱베 셈바시 저데 참 메모 딱베 셈바시 저데 참 조로 셰세데 니카레 테 탐제가 타도 테바 숨도 셰베 요인지 손데다게 타도 테바 시도 네버템 반도나 두데나 미타데 마부시도 다던다 되시고라 들려. 다전 탐에 셈데 아니 셈젠도 참베 셈치마 생기 년이 지금 말해서 등매고 어디 전에라. 셈기 셈젠도 참베 셈치마 생기 년이 지금 말해서 지단 거 교대 지그래 때또 배상게 김바텐데 기그래서 그라. 그래. 근데 특별 침배 두대 원도잖아. 다전 탐에 셈데 코에 셈치마다 참정도 말은 지난 셈트도 그래서 그라. 또 지다마다 가시 제베나 손나시 제베나 아니 저거치마 참주고 말해서 다좀 탐했는데 가서는 저거 괜찮게 마미시와나 시대에서 어떤데 송선이 요래서는 되라. 뒤치라네.
So here it's taking that reason of the arhat, the continuation of a detached ones, that means an arhat, they have no attachment, then that detached one's mind not continuing at the point of death. There's no future mind and after the death mind. So then that there's just a long discussion here that there's two points of view on that. One point of view is expressed in the Hinayana traditions, or the Pali tradition, if you want, in the Sanskrit tradition, or the Mahayana. That view is not asserted. That what is asserted is that it's the samsaric mind that stops operating once the arhat is completely eliminated all the mental afflictions. It's not the mind, there is a continuation of the mind after that. So that's what's being asserted by, explained here and discussed by quoting various scholars.
This one.
No, Drisa.
Yeah, 당연히 10주 됐다. 솔로가 10주 됐다 시작도와. 뭐야, 다 가르쳐도서나 룽게 줍지 밑에 봐서 다고 자좀 탐했는데 키랑게 롱레셔도 와서 낭베 롱레셔도와 대선자 네 라베인스나 대 줍지 대가 말해서 그라. 낭베 손데 처음에 주바 손데 노르레스 키랑 까버치기도 와서. 아니 대 손데 참아지니 그 공을 장에 말해서 그라. 니바 롱게 줍지 밑에 봐나 녀제 치게 리바 교계 롱레셔 녀제 치가서 자좀 치게서 그라. 니바다 자와 도사다 자와서 그라. 자좀 탐메sem데 리바 참 참주고 말해서 키랑게 손레셔도 와대 줍서 나서 그라. 네 처음에 마주 동생이 줍대셔서 장음시 키랑 남배 줍대데 처음에 마주베 던다를 노르바를 셰고요. 키랑다 처음에 마주베 노르에 줍대셔서 장기 메서 그라. Yeah, this one.
No. So here we're on, moving along here on the top of page 239. where it's talking about the unacceptability of proof through Scripture here. And so the line in the verse here, in this case 46, what are you a follower of the tenet system whose subject matter is for you unproven by authority? And so here the opponent is saying a faultless one's death time mind is established and therefore is an appropriate example because it explained in your own scriptures. Yeah. So then Gyaltsepche comes back and says, what? Are you a follower of the Buddhist tenet system? It follows that this objection is unsuitable for proving the appropriateness of the example because you assert A, that tenet system has a subject matter unproven by authority, and B, that Buddhist scriptures are an object of refutation for you.
This one. The longer trupchin take Marishara. The regret trupchi take Marisko, regret Kugura. Tajum Tamesem, the requestion of some Sugumaris, think a regret Kugin Sinasura. Regret Karakugurasena. Did you test Sena? Said the regretera. Tambuta, did you test Sena? Tajum Bachigasem Church answer. Rendesham some measure the tea, you unjungo that Teresura. Tajum Batama Chigalamasuara. Tisam decision answer. Requestion some Jurgamares and around Ribaku is what I can't only think me answer. Unjungo that Teresita, Utayomar, Uchas on any Shibat Shadow, this Ura. Unjungo, Utos and any Shindura. Oh, this Tajum Tamesam, the requestion of some Sugumares. Caressing take you Unjungo that area. Utime Mabshavre. Utime man and Shibayama Sigara. That could you think of as a better Chikugare. Did you test an answer?
Now we're on 239 where it's talking about the unacceptability of proof through reasoning. Now it's before it was through scripture, and now it's through reasoning. So then the lines of the verse is here just expressed as being 46C, the third line, C and D really, the third and the fourth line. So here, if you claim that an arhat's final mind does not connect because it is separated from its causes, then why don't you express precisely that as proof in this instance? Why don't you express that as proof in this instance of an ordinary being? So here, the opponent, if you look down at the bottom of page 239, the opponent is saying an arhat's death time. And here some people translate it as, I'm always saying arhat, but this translator says arhant. So an arhant's death time mind does not connect with a subsequent homogene because it is separated from breathing, the sense faculties, etc., which are its causes. So that when the breath stops, then the mind stops. That's their assertion. That do so.
That thing in the niche, my Jew said that Sholuka Shibju Shibgetera, Godera. Thing in the niche, my Jew said. Put on the Carlos and Trajum Tame, some church, requesting some measure there. They do Ujungu Natasha, Shebe Judy, some to the Utaya goddess. Utaya the Medu, and Shebati Twin some to Maris Lara. Utilia, Tingin Dinichi, my Jose, and Kerangi, Ujungu Natasha, Tatinise, Tameba Chism, 참조와 매바 주반되네 지마주의 죄를 받아 탐매배 치심 주제 리버치마 참매조데 우중우다 제외실시 따고야 임베시거다 다긴게만 겨라 치심이 배치서는 된지마 송하서래 다 우중우다 제외실시야 베시거라 탐매배 치심 주제 리버치마 참매조데 우중우다 제외실 리버치마 그 우중우 매바 차그래서 전이 쉐바용 말이스 디스랍주를 베시거라 되니 참조데 전에 시마주를 받아 디당아르게 따강롱 지천되네 나르게 망에 베셔 나르 치신이 베셔서 잡아면도 하시거라 뒤질라나 되니 시마주 셔더라 쇼로가 시주십게 시간 당부더라 탐에베 치심 참조와 매바 두반 되니 줍지도 시마주의 죄를 받아서 가르네 우중우다 잡아드시거라 대당아르게 따케란 치신이 베쳐서 나르 따지고서 디니데 나르게데 따얀다 레그메 도와서그래 주도해 디니데 치마주
So then it's addressing this one line. It's a commentator Geshe says, including this one line, why don't you express precisely that as proof in this instance of an ordinary being? Here, before it was just talking about that that there's no what do you say? Future moment of the mind. You know, the sequence of mind is broken. There's no future moment of the mind once you have the death mind, and so then, but now it's being that what is being used as a reason is that once the breathing stops, then the mind stops there, and so then Geshe is saying on top of page 240, why don't you express precisely that reason as proof in this instance of that an ordinary being's death-time mind does not connect with a subsequent homogene? It follows that it is reasonable to do so because you want to assert this reason in either this or the previous syllogism, and the reason is uncertain in your previous syllogism, the previous one being, what was that one? The death time mind of an ordinary being connects with a subsequent mind because it is a mind, and say that's an uncertain reason. Because it's a death time mind. So then, okay, that Jason.
뭐야? 다 데려다느니. 단데 솔로가 쉽게 데려와. 내 가서도서나 일로 데려서라 미소왕보 일로다. 미와다 나와져라서 봐 류한테 주시거라. 류한테 줘네 네 가서라 일로 똑반 독직이 교체버지 말해서거라 루게. 그래서 데데데라. 데 마주버tem바네 미소왕보 일로 똑반 도저히 교체버지 이나서도 야나 녀레인고래 야나 따진 가루래 만데베 나마 오던 거지 따진 이노시나스 되게 같이 셰셰사래 류한테서거라 아니 일로 똑반 도저히 교체버지 말해서거라 이나 야나 녀레인고래 야나 따진 거래서거라 그러니까 많이 배시서거라 다 녀레인 바도 오는 거기 있어거라 남시 멤버 남시 녀레인 멤버 시아치 왔다도 오는 거래 다 따진 바도 단다 가기도 와 Delusion to Zinjurchi, Ombuchele, she means it. The Ombudan Chebe, Luigi, Tajin Chebala, Yulutoba, member Talsigua. Delusion to Zinjurchi, Ombuchele, she means Ombudan Chebe, Luigi, Tajin Chebala, Tani, Yigi, Ishi Cheba, member Talsigura. Delusion to Zinjurchi. Miwanso ki taji cheba ni mixi susavar zimbashin to yigi jan susavar zin kukure ti mi zin beche swara. Telo shinto zinjur chistara. Wangbo chele ishi minse. This one. Yeah. Shiki nyoba tade che kunle jane mayino se. Wangbo miwan nawa chewan liwan la soba wangbo changme taji cheba le teni yigi sheba kikmaare ti ina miwan ki 다진 지도 소진배 내가 요아를 고통을 많이 봐. 내가 보고 transimba, 내가 보고 transimba. 제가 보고 뒤지고 그래서거라. 그래서 세계 내가 타대죠. 온보 때다가 나랑게 수다들을 렉처러서 반집에 내가 가가가요. 그래서라. 그래서 온보 끈지 다진 잡을 때는 이렇게 두고 말해서 그래. 그래서 어디 들었는 데도. 텔레신도 진짜 온보 첼레 시면서
So here,
Miwan Nawana Sogbe, Tajin, you look over Kigma, Skia to Kagdoa. Delusion to Zinjurse, one buchele, she means, one butchebe, Luigi Tajin Chevaletani, she Kigma Rese. 원봉아가 속발을 때는 다진시에 이기 시바끼고 말해 시기 네버타도 원봉아보디 시바끼지 네버 가가가요 그래서 군래잖아 마이노 원봉군지 류한군지 다진시에 발을 때는 자 일루도 밖에 많이 있어라.
So here, which the topic is showing that that if the latter is asserted, the reason is unproven. The latter here is a syllogism that the death-time mind of an ordinary being does not connect with a subsequent homogene because it is separated from breathing, the sense faculties, etc., which are its causes. Breathing, the sense faculties, etc., which are its causes. So it does not connect with a subsequent homogene. So here, it's saying that the reason is unproven. So here, if we read then in the middle of page 240, just after that heading that says, showing that the latter is asserted, the reason is unproven. So here, if the visual and other sense faculties are the special indispensable causes of mind. Here is just what we were talking about before, that the sense faculties are the special indispensable causes of each individual sensory consciousness. But they're saying special indispensable causes of mind. They cannot be either the substantial cause or the principal cause. Here the substantial cause is we already discussed that. We're mentioning it's the Nirlingigyu, and then the principal condition here is the translation, what I was saying is the dominant condition. So then if they're the special indispensable causes of mind, then they cannot be the substantial cause or the principal or the dominant cause or the principal dominant condition or the principal condition. That they are the former will be refuted below, that they are the substantial cause. That they, if they are the principal condition, it follows that mental cognition does not arise from a principal condition, that is the body together with the sense faculties. Because if that were the case, the mind would clearly apprehend form just as that visual consciousness apprehends a form. So if it weren't it's saying that it follows that the mental cognition does not arise from a principal condition that is the body together with the sense faculties. Basically it's trying to cut out the what do you say? Sense faculty being the dominant condition, and saying that the dominant condition can be of the mind can come from the body and together with the sense faculties, because if that were the case, the mind would clearly apprehend form just as that visual cognition apprehends form. So that our mind, instead of being like this conceptual mind, would have to be just like the visual, our visual consciousness, that it would be apprehending it as in a direct way without any what do you say, thought.
Joshua.
Picture.
Dan dici labda yabu chung. Telo shindun zingyur chi wangbu chele Yeshe minsi gdwa. Be karisi gresina. Pena ilu tokba shiyorwa. Ilu tokba. Tanga yilayimba ilu tokba te rwa. Ene wangbu dan chebe luigi wangbu. Miwaan tabu chigi tajin chebala tene kigi maresi gora. Karisi te kena ni mishi gi su seba tonga nashin. Ilu tokba degya su seba che tongu resi gora. Tajin chene tona. Telo shindun zingyur chi wangbu chele Yeshe minsi ade. This one, miwaan gi tajin chene ilu tokba kigi mare, na wangbu tajin chene ilu tokba kigi maresi gora. Te kena ni mishi gi su tonga nashin. Seba chene tongu re, te tongu mendo asare. Tiji labda. Tuture. Telo shindun zingyur wangbu chele Yeshe minsi ade.
So if you take that one line here from, or it's two lines perhaps, but anyway, if you go back to 239 on mental cognition, it's listed as 47 here. Mental cognition does not arise from the body together with the sense faculties, because then the mind would apprehend just as that sense cognition does. Just like we were saying, that the mind would, the mental consciousness, as that means, would clearly apprehend form, just as the visual consciousness apprehends form.
Yilu tokba de miwa, nawa, chewa, liwa, wangbu changma ke dajin shebal teni kigma re sera, kun le chan ma inu sera. Miwa, nawa, chewa, liwa, changma kun ki dajin shebal teni yilu tokba kigma re sera. Ki ena ni, dezo ke sheba, miwa ke sunzimbe sheba kigre, nawa wangbu ke chanzimbe sheba kigre, niba kaga yo re sera. Ni, wangbu chigma changna ya, yiki sheba kiya yo ma re sera. Yiki sheba kiya lo wangbu ngaga ke dajin chani kiya gore, ni sute te recha ngaga tuichi to tongu gore. Tu tongu ma re sera. Sheki niba tade che kun le jana ma ino so, di tu labnan sa re.
So then we can finish this one verse by it. It is also necessarily, it also necessarily is not the case that the mind is ascertained to arise from a principal condition or dominant condition that is a collection of all the sense faculties, visual, auditory, what do we say? Your nose nose. What is that? I forget the word for that. And then your taste and then touch. It's not the case that all of those come together because the sense faculties have differing abilities, which are the principal conditions for generating cognitions of their respective objects. That each sense faculty acts as the dominant condition for the particular consciousness that it that it causes, is a condition for. The word also means that a further reason must be applied to the foregoing thesis, that because it would follow that if even one sense faculty were not present, mind could not arise. So then, that's not the way. We don't experience, everything. The mind doesn't apprehend all the different sensory objects all at once, right? Like that. So that's it for today. So that's the end of today's 2 sessions, the last session. So now it's our custom to do the dedication at this point. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri, and likewise Samantha as well. With whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds.